welcome to the channel, viewers. We're doing our exercise. We're on land, we're walking, then we'll get out on the water and do our lap around the bay. It's overcast this morning. Thank you for joining me, Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, Gosford, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. We're at about 10 degrees Celsius. Coming on to the tail of winter. There has been a pretty bad flu getting around. I went through a course of antibiotics. I've got out the other side of it. They called it the 2023 yo-yo flu. I don't know if you've heard of that, but anyway, there you go. I want to speak about conditioning. That doesn't necessarily have to be curtailed or intertwined with emotional incest, but it's definitely one of the characteristics and plans, schemes and way in which people will try and enable you to work in conjunction with the dualism part of their life relative to finding time for the emotional incest part of their life. A lot of these people are dependent. What I've found is they have asked me when I've met them, are you codependent? And questions like this, and I'm thinking, codependent? I mean, these are questions that often occur to people that are on drugs, alcohol, and these kind of things where they need substances to help them sustain an element of peace or serenity, or at least stability in their psyche. When you are not on drugs and alcohol and things like that, you're a mile ahead of the masses. You're not a part of the masses if you're alcohol, drug and substance free. You're not a part of the masses. You're in a unique class of people that have made the effort to protect their mind and their psychological structure from dependency on things that alter it and try and manage it from a chemical level. A lot of these people that are on substances are codependent. This can be chemically, a chemical connection, along with some kind of connection with either family members or a partner. They will challenge the partner, the outsider, as to whether they're codependent or not, but that works solely on the premise of control, using codependency with the twist of, if you are codependent, then you will not put me under control type style of thing. But the reason also for this is the not being put under control is I will not be able to devote myself in a healthy way to the relationship. And they'll tell you this from the start, and you need to decide whether you want to put up with the garbage and the dysfunction, or stay on hold and wait till somebody more healthy comes along. The thing is, many of us are culturalized to sink our teeth straight into people that we meet, and then when the shit hits the fan and the low characteristic formations and personality flaws come out, then we've got to back our loyalty and devotion and commitment out. And that's hard. That's like trying to drag a bog truck out of quicksand. The reverse procedure, breakup procedure, is much harder in some ways than the jump into the relationship vampire type approach to a connection. So there is an element of wisdom related to meeting people, but even that's going out the window with the dating sites and all these things. Now, just for the record, I do want to say dating sites are predominantly used by predators, irresponsible and unaccountable people. But that doesn't mean if you meet someone in the street that they're going to have a clear slate either. Just wanted to bring that to people's attention, because you could meet someone on the street, go up to them a cold approach, and they could be worse than someone on the internet. You don't know. So this comes back to your responsibility to make sure that who you do meet has the qualities and characteristic traits that you're going to need to have a healthy relationship. So you meet someone, how do you go through the initial phase of a relationship so that you can work out the kind of person that you're with? Well, the first thing you don't do is jump into bed. Because as soon as you jump into bed, you've laid yourself bare to that person. Now, many of you might not agree, and that's completely up to you, but I know for a fact that jumping straight into bed with somebody is not the way to go. Because as I've found, if they do like you and you decide to go exclusive, all the problems and all the crap won't surface till 3, 6, 9, 12 months into the journey, and that's time you don't get back, and that's time that's being invested into trying to get the truck out of the quicksand, trying to get your heart out of the mess that could be created by this person. So you need to have foresight, you need to have patience beforehand, and you need to be going out just to meet people, not to have sex with people. Just meet them. You don't want to damage your psyche, you don't want to damage your mind or your heart, and this is the number one rule to prevent that. If you do meet a person and you're hitting it off, then see that person for a month or two. If you're not giving them sex, there's a couple of things that could happen. They could go back to their ex. This happens a lot. I'll get sex off my ex. But that's not getting them anywhere, they're just going backwards. They're just going around in circles, that crew. Another thing that could happen is, I'm sorry, I don't want to see you anymore, or you get ghosted without explanation. These flaws in these people's characters will come out if you give yourself the liberty and the privilege and time to see whether the person can communicate, be responsible for their connection. Are they going to be healthy? This will also manifest the problems that they've got in their life. I met one woman nice lady. She had 7 children, 1 in jail. All the others were living in the home. And it only took a week to work out that ain't for me. This place was a nightmare. It was never going to work. Very attractive woman. But you've got to realise as well, beauty's only skin deep. You have to accept the fact that beauty, attraction, is only skin deep. And this is where a lot of people get deceived by their lust, as the Bible calls it. Deceived by deceitful lusts. Remember, the biggest competition is against yourself. You have to be wise of yourself. So you'll meet people that are predators, male and female. They just out for supply. They have narcissistic traits. In most cases, they've got superficial respect for themselves, but deep underneath, no respect for themselves. They will have issues with resolve. That's probably why they are the way they are. They just don't see the value in a life of resolve. They will usually be assisted by medications, or have an alcohol problem or a dope problem. They'll be open to recreational drugs, and this doesn't help things for them either. Only medications that are prescribed by the doctors. Most other stuff's just by choice, but they will make excuses. And those things are going to disrupt the quality of the relationship. If there's children involved, that's a whole different dimension, particularly if they live with the parent. You'll find there's going to be enmeshment and opposition from family members. And also, if you're not a drug addict and you're straight and you're an athlete and you care about yourself on a daily basis, mentally, physically, spiritually and emotionally, then you're best staying away from these people, because their psyche cycles are constantly disrupted by the chemicals that they take. They won't run on the same system as what you are psychologically. Now, I've never judged addicts and things, but they've never worked out because they're too involved in themselves, managing themselves and managing their dysfunctional children. See, everything around them's dysfunctional by domestic formation. And if they have a cultural attraction to drugs and alcohol and things, then you're better off leaving them with people in that culture. Or otherwise, they'll try and culturalize you like they have themselves and their children. They'll try and culturalize you, and the next thing, you'll be on drugs and alcohol and Christ knows what else if you're not strong enough. And down you go. You see, these types of people, the drug people and the alcohol people, they're in a very dark dimension before they start. They're defeated before they start. Now, people might argue this, and you go for it. You're wasting your time with me. But they're on the back foot before they start in realms of depravity, lying, conceitedness, backbiting, collusion against a relationship, narcissistic traits, things like this. They will cause, by nature, by fact, drug people do cause a deeper level of trauma throughout the relationship. They can be negligent, they can be manic, high 1 minute, depressive the next, and they're constantly spinning around in their heads are going like a hamster on a hamster wheel, constantly making sure supply's intact, who they care about is being supplied. They'll usually be the financer if it's the parent. You'll see that it's a culture within itself. You will, if you are not part of that culture, you will be judged by them. Not that you're judging them, but they will judge you. Oh yeah, they're not going to like someone who has their faculties and senses and life in order around them, because it does make them have to look in the mirror, and the view is not real good for them. They're manipulative and controlling. They're passive aggressive. That's one of the bad ones. Very deeply, viciously passive aggressive. You ain't going to know half the time what's going on. They're the types that'll say, I can't speak to you because you did it, and you're standing there and you're just going, oh yeah, whatever. They make excuses. Because they don't know how to resolve, they'll usually ruin the relationship by triangulation. And overall, the whole thing turns out to be a mess. They just don't know how to have a normal relationship. And this will come at the expense of not only themselves, but everyone else around them. They can cause complex PTSD or just PTSD. Either, it's both, as I said before, like describing that boat there. They pull boats up off the bottom. Well, that's what post-traumatic stress is like, pulling yourself up, getting pulled up off the bottom after you've sunk, bit by bit. And it's a long journey out of the trauma of a relationship that could have worked but didn't, by negligence of the person that you were with. Omission and commission both have forms of negligence. You have to, like I am now, stay in touch with yourself. Get up, walk, do your exercise. Don't overeat, don't be a glutton. Have multi-forms of exercise. A lot of guys say the gym. Not necessarily just the gym. Have multi-forms. Like I'm going to do my walk for my legs. Then I'm going to do the paddle. Hey, Captain. Then I'm going to do the paddle for my arms and chest and other areas. And then I'll do my walk again. At the same time, I'm doing my videos for my help to the people that listen to them. I want to get the word out that there are people of integrity and morality that are drug-free and want to do the right thing. And you can do multi-things to benefit yourself even before the sun's up. Sun's not up yet. Then you go out and you do your day's work. There's multi things you can do to benefit yourself. But you have to be consistent, you have to be disciplined, you have to keep turning up. Just keep showing up, turning up. Like even this old lady here now, look, she's up and at it. She'd be 70 or 80 years old. So it's your responsibility to stay in touch with yourself, to look after yourself, to be aware of the things that are happening around you, to be aware of the people that you're being involved with, to be aware of whether the fact you stay or go. Some people are better off left alone out of courtesy for them, not just the benefit of yourself. straight mindful people are a fascination to a lot of these people, but when the fascination wears off, then so too does the ability of these people to navigate a healthy relationship with you. They're not capable. They fall back into their lazy mindsets, selfish mindsets, and tribal formations and functions and principles and things, most of which are usually destructive and selfish. So I'm going to get ready to paddle now. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, Theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Subscribe, like, share. You can contact me if you want. Bye for now.